happy holidays. So this is my first episode, if that's what I can call it. I'm basically doing a kind of a 3-month test of pushing myself out of my comfort zone and to try to kind of do something a little different, something that I normally would not do. And I'm very camera shy. I don't like being on camera. I'm one of those people that when you pull out a camera, whether it's video or photos or a still camera, I'm like this. I know, even in this day and age, right, where everyone's on camera. Now, there are images of me online, but it's primarily through work, because in my work, my line of work, I do have to kind of take photos and be in videos. So anyway, this is me just kind of having fun and just talking about really kind of mindless reality TV stuff, and hopefully actually getting some good points across about some of the stuff that we watch. Hello. So anyway, first and foremost, happy holidays, okay? Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I hope you guys are having a great time. And in honor of that, even though I'm not really kind of big on holidays, hello, I've got my little Christmas colors on. What? So green and red for the holidays. I have nothing to do with the green curtains behind me. Please do not judge me, okay? This is not my spot, but I'm thankful for it. It's my family's house, so anyway. Anyway, the first episode that we're going to talk about is going to be Black Ink's season finale. If you watch the show, you'll be able to keep up. I'm not going to go into too many details. The whole premise of this is to point out kind of life lessons from reality TV. It's pretty silly and fun, but whatever. That's all it is. It's just me putting myself out there. So yeah, it's going to be short because this is my first one, and I really am trying to kind of find my groove here. All right, so I'm going to say that this whole thing with this episode with, you know, Black Ink crew, the one thing that I think stood out more than anything was the fact that no one in this entire episode took responsibility for their participation in co-creating the drama that was bringing them such agony. The only person who actually did that was ironically Caesar. And Caesar was the one who was ragged on all season, right? Because he refused to check his girlfriend, who was bringing the drama and creating hell for him and separating him with his from his friends. So ironically, the episode launches or opens with Caesar kind of, you know, coming to realization. And you can tell he had a kind of, as they call it, a come to Jesus moment or a Zen moment, if that's what you want to call it, where he confesses that he made some mistakes, you know, which is, for him and for anyone, an aha moment. We've all been there. So he talks about how he loves this woman, Dutchess, but he has got to let her go. But before he does, he wants to call her and to make sure she's okay, which I think is a nice gesture, and it's the least that he can do, because she went home and she wasn't feeling well. But he's just over it, you know, and you can't make someone be interested when they're over you. Ladies, trust me, it just doesn't work that way. When a man is done, it's a wrap. Okay, it's a wrap. So anyway, the conversation could have gone better. And it would have gone better had Dutchess been in a good place to have that conversation, but she wasn't. I think he was calling her to feel her out and to hope that she maybe was hearing some of what he was saying. You know, so many times in relationships, a lot of the stuff that happens because we're not hearing what the other person is saying, or the other person is feeling like we're not hearing them. So clearly he feels like, she's not hearing me. This is why I sent you home, because you weren't listening. It's all about you and your heart murmur and your bullshit. And they get on the phone and she has a moment and an opportunity to listen. So when life, and this is a lesson that I took from this, that I think is big, when life offers you the opportunity to step up your game, take it. Take it. Because it's so crucial. You don't know when you'll get that opportunity again. You don't know if it will come the same way or whatever, but try to take it if you can acknowledge it. So she didn't acknowledge this opportunity for what it was. I feel like this was an opportunity for her to listen to him. Just shut up and listen. And it was an opportunity for him to be a man and listen to her and try to put things right. But anyway, it didn't go well. You know, she starts with the boohooing, and the whole playing the victim only gets you so far. You know, in a relationship, when you are manipulating someone to the point where they begin to feel resentment, which is what he said he felt for her. When a man starts saying he feels resentment towards you, it's a wrap. You can forget it. That's a hard place to come back from. You know, resentment is poison. It is absolute poison, and you get a drop of that in a relationship, and it can destroy everything in no time. So anyway, they ended the conversation. It's a wrap, and I think that's something that probably needed to happen. Who knows if they'll get back together again? They're in their 20s, that happens all the time. But anyway, moving on, he goes to see his friends, and another very important lesson that I got from this is that when he sees his friend on the beach and all of his friends together, and he says, I broke up with her, and they go, okay. I mean, that's very telling. When your friends are happy that you've broken up with your spouse or with your mate or your boyfriend or girlfriend, that's telling. It's telling you two things. Either, number one, your boyfriend or girlfriend was an asshole, and they were just holding their breath, hoping that you would see it and get rid of them. Or, two, your friends are assholes, and they are not supportive of you in your relationships, no matter how good they are, in which case, get rid of them. In this case, we know, obviously, it's number one. She was a difficult person, and they didn't care for her because she caused a lot of strife. So anyway, I think the way Caesar is handling this is really, I think he's handling it as maturely as he can, being who he is. And moving on, throughout the episode, he tends to be the one who's pretty level-headed, even though we don't know what was really going on. He could have been crying in his hotel room and boo-hooing like a baby, but that's fine. You do that, but then you stay strong, and you come back to that conversation in a voice that says, maybe I should call her, maybe I should do this, and you say, no, it's not good for me. It's venom, it's poison. So anyway, moving on to the next poisonous relationship is, why is my alarm go? I have my alarm set for 1:45, like I'm going to be doing something at 1:45 in the morning. There's no booty calls here, we don't do this. No. Alright, let's turn it off. Sorry about that. So anyway, I'm going to try to wrap this up because I'm trying to be really quick. So if I'm really long, forgive me. I'm gonna shorten it, I promise. I'll shorten my next one. I'll make it half this long, if I can. So anyway, on to the whole, wedding fiasco. And that's pretty much what I'm going to call it. I happen to think that when it comes to weddings and funerals, they bring out the best and the worst in people. You learn a lot about yourself and the people around you when you're having a wedding or when you're having a funeral. Those are the two biggest, most stressful situations in life. Not even giving birth is necessarily, but giving birth is always a joyous thing. A wedding, a funeral, that's when people fight, and they fight dirty, and they fight raw. And this was a horrible thing to watch. And I have to tell you that as a woman, seeing another woman, and I'm talking about the mother-in-law, Puma's mother-in-law, seeing someone be so negative and so spiteful and so hurtful towards her own daughter, I don't get it. But what I can say is that everyone in this situation also refused to accept responsibility for having something to do with creating this toxic environment. Even Puma's fiance, as beautiful as she is, and she seems like a sweet girl, and she seems very level-headed, and they seem to be in love, and I wish them the best. But the reality of it is, if you as a woman are getting married to a man, and your mother disapproves, or your father disapproves, and their disapproval begins to get in the way of you making a commitment to the human being that you want to love for the rest of your life, it is time to put your foot down. And, the way that she handled it, I think, was more like a little girl than as a grown woman. And I'm just going to say this is a very important lesson in life that sometimes it takes you well into your 30s to learn. And that is that the measure of who you are as a person has less to do with who you are when you're with your spouse and more to do with how you handle your mother and your father and your family. Because those are the people who can push your buttons and know you to your core like nobody else. So if you can stand up to them, if you can handle them in a way that's healthy, productive, that keeps you sane, that keeps everything, that is a wonderful thing. The minute I see someone who doesn't know how to handle their family, who doesn't know how to put their foot down with their family, I think to myself, that person is not ready. That person is not ready to be a mother or father. They're certainly not ready to be married. The absolute criteria, to me anyway, for starting your own family is being able to handle the family you have right now. And this grown woman is allowing her mother to fly into Jamaica and be the biggest bitch in the world. for no reason. For no reason, you know. And Puma actually said it very well. Maybe she's jealous. Well, maybe she is, you know, but you're going to have to put your jealousy in check. So the whole issue of the mother-in-law and Puma and everything, I just think it's a toxic situation that should have been dealt with before they got to Jamaica. And I am sorry, but I think that argument that Puma had with his fiance in the hotel room, where he just had a conversation with the mother-in-law, and he basically said to her, look, I don't like the way you are acting. I don't think you're acting like a mother should, and I don't like the way you're acting around my daughter. And he has every right to say that when there's a child involved and he feels the need to protect his child. He has a right to say that. Should he have said it then? I think he should have, because if she's coming to him as a woman and she's having a conversation and has the audacity to say we need to find common ground and we need to work this out, then no, what you need to hear is what you need to hear in order to understand how to work this out, and that's that your behavior is unacceptable. No one's going to allow you to come into their lives and treat them like crap, least of all me, and not around my daughter. So he was justified in saying that, and I think he said it very respectfully. You tell me what you think. I think he said it very, very respectfully as he could, considering the fact that she disrespected him at the dinner the night before. You know, so anyway, having said all of that, the argument that he then has after this woman gets up and runs back to her daughter and cries how horrible she's feeling. What a selfish woman. What a selfish woman to do that to your daughter on her wedding day. She runs back, cries to her daughter-in-law, and her daughter turns to Puma and says, how could you do this to me? I told you to just chill. Here's the thing about that moment. The conversation that she had with Puma, I think, is a microcosm of what's going to happen from this day forward if she doesn't check her mother, which is that they are going to constantly be fighting about her mother and her mother disrespecting him in their love. She should have been having that conversation with her mama, and she should have turned around to her mother and said, now look, okay, I love you, but let me let you know now, right now, what's going to change. Your attitude, the way you treat my husband, and the way you treat me in front of my child. In the story, or there will be no relationship here. You got to say it. You got to grow up. And if you can't do that with your mother, you certainly aren't going to be able to have a healthy relationship with your husband or anyone else. That's all I'm saying. Fix what's at home, and the rest will follow. So anyway, that's kind of what I have to say. For Puma's part, I felt bad for him because I felt like he really was trying. You know, I will criticize this much with regards to how he handled it at the rehearsal dinner. I know he thought he was being the bigger person by walking away, but here's something else that's a lesson in life. When you say that you're trying to be the bigger person, define what that is clearly to yourself. Define it very clearly, because sometimes when we say we're being the bigger person, we're actually not. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when we say it, that's when we're not being the bigger person. You don't need to say you're being bigger person. Just do it. And the problem that I had is that he walked away from the dinner table. And that's running away. That's not being a big person. That's just running away. You left your friends, you left your wife, or your fiance, and you gave the mother exactly what she wanted, which was for you to get lost and to ruin the dinner. So anyway, being a bigger person is putting your ego aside, and running away is all about your ego. So anyway, just saying, that's just my thoughts. Having said that, everything goes off pretty well considering, but my prediction, they're going to have a miserable marriage and a miserable time until she figures out how to talk to her mother. She's got to figure out how to work this out. And again, this is with these women in their 40s and who are trying to ruin their daughters' marriages, like on the Atlanta Housewives with Mama Joyce. There's no reason for a woman that age to be that bitter and that hateful towards her daughter. It's painful to watch, you know, and what's even more painful is her giving, I'm talking about on Black Ink Crew, giving her daughter a kiss on the cheek and saying, I love you. Really? As you're sticking the heart in her, in the knife in her heart, you love her. Let me tell you something about love. There's love and there's hate, and they are flip sides of the same coin. It's a very fine line between love and hate. It's true. It's true. And the reality of it is that when somebody is telling you that they love you while they're sticking a knife in your heart or in your back, there's some hatred there. And it may not even be hatred towards you directly. Most likely it's actually hatred, self-hatred. I think in this case, Hatred for herself, hatred for the world, hatred for the life that she wishes she could have had, the life that she didn't live, the one that she wishes she could get. There's a lot of hatred there that has nothing to do with her daughter, but unfortunately she's taking it out on her. So anyway, that's a lesson for everyone, to figure out your shit, and to live your life, man. Live your life. No one who's living their lives and trying and moving through fears and challenging themselves to move on and to do things bigger than what they are is going to do that to another human being, let alone their child. So, wow. I hope she watches this episode and sees how her behavior affected everyone around her. Even the friends, Puma's friends, everyone was disgusted. You could see the look on their faces. A look is worth 1,000 words. People at the dinner table were like, yeah. So anyway, they did get married, and that was great and all, but I just don't see that situation getting better until she has that talk with her mother and puts her mother in her place and becomes a woman in doing that and saying, enough, Mom, back up. Alright, so the other thing is, oh shit, yeah, he's got issues. He's obviously the epitome of a human being who has no idea how to, I'm just going to say this, he's what you would call a loser, because he blames everyone, everywhere. He's the epitome of the first lesson that I just mentioned, which was, you got to take some responsibility. And in this episode, he's being given multiple opportunities to see that he's not taking responsibility. The Buddhist, customer, that beautiful woman who said to him, why is all of this drama happening to you? She tried to say it to him as nicely and as calmly and as zen as she possibly could. You fuck up. Why is that? It's no one else's fault. And he didn't get it. And then he had his third baby mama, which I don't understand that whole situation. Ladies, stop having babies with these losers. It's so not cute. But he has, a meal with her, and she says to him, "You're not my rock, you're my pebble. You're not stepping up to the plate." I think that's a lesson for women. If your man is not stepping up to the plate in that moment, let him go. Don't get pregnant by him either. So anyway, that's a whole nother ball game. But I don't want to go too much into him because he's so far gone. I think he is someone who is the epitome of toxicity that you need to leave alone. And I think everyone on that show in real life who deals with him in real life should put an arm's distance. This is what my grandmother says. You keep them at an arm's length. Feed him with a long-handled spoon. Hey, how you doing? And then keep it moving, because his negativity is so deep and so big and so vast and so long that anything that he does will draw you in and make you a part of that beef. Look at everything that happened to him in this episode, from the customers who came in there irate that he was so irresponsible that he didn't show up to his appointments on time, to the girl that he wanted to testify for him cursing up a stuff. I mean, it's all negativity. So that kind of person in life, when you see that person, I don't care how nice they are, I don't care how well-meaning they are, I don't care how low-key they are, get rid of them. Get rid of them. It's just, life is too short. Get your shit together, and then we can hang, That's my thing. So anyway, that's kind of sort of it. Let me see if there's anything else. I think this video was ridiculously long, and I do ask that you forgive me. I will tighten it up. Again, it's a process, so hopefully by the time I get into like February or January, I'll be much tighter. I promise, and more focused. I don't feel like this was a really focused video, but I'm going to put it up there anyway because I'm trying to move through insecurities. If it's not great, if it's horrible, it's going up, and I'll just learn from it. That's all. Okay, and I appreciate your comments and your criticism. Anything constructive that you have to say, I appreciate it. Thank you. But do know that I will delete anything that's disrespectful in terms of being really negative towards me or any other commenter. I don't put up with that shit. Life is too short. Go do that somewhere else. So, anyway, observations. Boom, boom, boom. All the women, yep, the guy's a loser. We got that. The measure of a man. We got that. Loved. Oh, hey, I did pretty good, though. I did do everything. Anyone says I got... Oh. Okay, I did that. Yeah, I actually did a lot. I did a lot. I would stress again that when life gives you the opportunity to step up your game, to take it, and in this episode, everyone had that opportunity. Everyone, if you look at every situation, everyone had an opportunity to kind of move beyond their habits and their character flaws, and we're always given those opportunities. We don't always take them, and that's myself included, but I'm just saying. I think the only people who did that really was Puma and Caesar. I can see why they're friends. I can see why they're the best of friends. They're very interesting guys, and I think they're good guys, and they're smart, and they figure it out. You know, take some time. Character flaws take time to work through. You're not going to figure it out in a season on a reality TV show, and you're definitely not going to figure it out necessarily in your 20s. You know, it takes years in relationships to really work through some stuff. So anyway, that's it. I don't know. I'll try to do better next time. I hope you enjoyed it or got something out of it, and I would love to get your feedback. Hey, okay? Have a happy, wonderful holiday, and I just hope that you and your family enjoy every minute of it.